after that, KG,
Indeed, Leanne.
Master KG, and I'm hoping you dance, Sakina.
No, choreographer.
Oh, really?
I ain't doing that.
All right, you
No,
talk
no,
handwriting.
no.
Have you
I'll
got a
leave
nice
that-
handwriting, by the way? Can I ask you that? I've never seen your handwriting.
I do have a nice handwriting, even if I say so myself.
Good.
If people wrote like me, there would have been no need to invent the typewriter.
If I must say so myself. I will personally say my handwriting is awful. So, okay, we'll leave it to you. You talk handwriting then.
Thanks so much, Leanne. And as you dust off your handwriting, or should I say your dancing shoes, we'll focus on handwriting for a moment. Now, in the modern world, you can imagine with WhatsApp messages, typing on our phones, our tablets, our computers, those have become everyday norms. But when was the last time that you actually wrote a handwritten letter to someone? And it might seem old-fashioned, it might seem archaic even, but the 1st of September is in fact World Letter Writing Day. And our next guest says that the physical act of writing or drawing are actually very beneficial to one's mental cognition. So to learn a little more about this, we're joined now by psychologist Reabetsoe Buys, who we welcome onto Morning Live. Thanks so much for your time this morning.
Morning, Sakina. Thank you so much for having me this morning.
So the perception is that hardly anyone anymore physically writes down anything, and that school children and university students in particular may have to write down notes, but in the working world, everything seems to be moving towards being digitized. So please tell us more about the importance of handwriting in this day and age.
Okay, so you're 100% right that everything has become digital. We use our phones and our laptops to communicate, almost everything that we need to. We can now send voice notes instead of actually writing letters to people now. So everything has become more digitized. But what we do need to remember is that handwriting is such an important skill. That's what we're taught when we're younger in school. And it actually has been shown to help just with regards to brain development in children, because it activates certain areas of your brain. And even in adults, it's important to continue handwriting because it activates those areas. But as well as also helping us in terms of being creative, spending time in the moment and being mindful to put something down on paper can be really useful to help us as well, just in terms of expressively putting down our thoughts and feelings onto paper.
So which are those cognitive abilities that we actually tap into when we write or draw?
So for one, when we use our hands, we are using a specific skill. So we're using our fine and gross motor skills to actually grasp a pen, to actually, form letters and to form words. So there's that aspect to it. But also, it's so easy to, when you're typing a message or when you're typing an email, to actually, backspace or to delete something. Or when you read over it again, then you have an opportunity to actually go back and change certain words, which is very convenient for us. But you can imagine that when you're handwriting, you actually spend a lot more time thinking about the words that you want to use, how you want to communicate, and the message that you want to put across. So it activates, obviously, our language centers in our brains, our memory, and really helps us to be creative. I mean, if you really want to help somebody to understand what it is that you're trying to say through handwriting, you're going to be a lot more creative in the way that you put things down as well.
Can someone actually read something into your actual handwriting itself, Reabetsoe? So if you have a neat handwriting, or, the way the letters are slanted, can one read anything into that specifically?
I'm not an expert in that area, but I do know that a lot of research has been done into, handwriting in the way that people do write, the way that they form their letters, like you said, whether they use cursive or not, and just the structure of of their lettering. I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of research that has been done into what that means, which already indicates, that looking into someone's handwriting gives us a lot of information, about the person's personality, about maybe the state that they are in at the time. And I know that handwriting analysis is also used in schools. So they encourage children to write neatly, not only because it looks neat, but because it also helps the child develop in terms of personality-wise. How is it that they are actually writing? What is it that they are communicating in the way that they are writing as well?
So is there still a lot of importance attached to this at school level? Because I can remember spending hours and hours trying to make sure that everything was written so neatly. But for example, when I look at my second son's handwriting, Lord, it's shocking. You have to wonder how much time was spent on getting this child to write properly.
Yes, I think it is. I think schools definitely still emphasize on teaching children to write. I know that they also still encourage children to start using cursive writing from a certain grade. So it is important because, as I said, it has been proven to correlate very nicely with development as well. So schools do encourage children to use, pens and pencils to actually write on paper, along with using, now they're introducing, laptops and tablets and things to teach as well. But handwriting has definitely not been dismissed completely because it is important with regards to cognitive development.
Okay, Mickey, it's not so bad because he might be watching. This is not going to go down well. But Reabetsoe, talk to us more also about writing and drawing as therapeutic outlets. What does it do for your mind?
So something that I know a lot of therapists use, including myself, is, we will often recommend if someone is sitting in front of you and they have so much that's going on, they've got so much going on in their heads and emotionally they're going through so much, and they often maybe don't find it easy to just talk to other people. And even in therapy, some people struggle to express themselves as well as they would want to. Then we would recommend, just put pen to paper, just go in your own time, just write down everything that you're thinking, everything that you're feeling, just so it is let out, So we use expressive writing as a therapeutic tool because it can help just to relieve someone of that immediate, overwhelming feeling of all of these thoughts and emotions that are going on. And it can actually help people think clearly. So if you've put something down on paper, it can actually clear your mind so that you can, make decisions or to really think about what you need to do. So fair enough, it doesn't, immediately resolve all of the problems, but it definitely helps people to be able to express what they need to express and therefore be able to move on to different steps that can help them with regards to their healing journey. And then with children, I know a lot of therapists, including myself, use drawing as well. So drawing can be very expressive. Drawing comes very naturally to kids. You ask them to draw about their day and they'll draw a whole bunch of things, for you to talk to them about as well. So it definitely is a means of expression, which in itself can be therapeutic.
And just finally, what is the emotive impact of receiving a physically handwritten letter as opposed to an email or a text message?
Well, I think it's along the lines of, you look at how much effort someone has put into writing to you, right? So sending a message and a voice note is very quick. A lot of the time it's very reactionary as well. So I respond to a message because there's something that's come through. But when you look at the effort that goes into someone sitting down with a good old big pen, putting it down to paper, writing a message or writing a story or sharing an experience with somebody. And then, the effort of going to the post office or going to Postnet to actually post it, waiting to, hear from the person that says, I've actually received it. Thank you so much. I mean, it's so easy to move past a message or delete a message. But if someone writes me a letter, I'm going to keep it and I'm going to, keep going back to it to read it again. It really is, an experience that evokes a lot of positive emotions, and not just for the person receiving it, for the person that's writing it as well. You know, they took time out of their day to do something really nice for another person, and that in itself can release a lot of feel-good hormones and can actually help, you know, with that connectedness. It nurtures relationships. So it ends up being a very valuable and meaningful experience to actually write and receive letters. So I think that's something that shouldn't be lost on us. World Letter Writing Day definitely emphasized it and is reminding us of a very, you know, unique tradition. This is something that we used to do way back then, before we had WhatsApp. So it really is important for us to keep that going and to encourage our kids to do it, to write to their cousins or to have a pen pal. It really is important with regards to just, you know, keeping us connected and, you know, keeping relationships nurtured.
Well, I'm certainly looking forward to receiving a letter from someone from somewhere, and I'll think of who I could write one to as well. But thank you so much, psychologist Reabetsoe Buys, for talking to us about the psychological, cognitive and also the physical importance of handwriting and also drawing in this modern age of instant text messages. Very interesting indeed. All right, so coming up, and we have been waiting. If you haven't seen the Jerusalema craze, I don't know which rock you've been hiding under, but we'll certainly bring you up to speed. We'll drag you kicking and screaming and dancing into the latest. And we've been playing this, we've been waiting for it. The team, the crew has been exercising. Yo, Master KG, you don't know what you've done. I've had to watch people dancing here all morning. But as I said, for those who